The Israelis may be cooking to find some collaborators in the West Bank and Gaza in order to put up a puppet council, and they may find some collaborators to work with them on that.
Now, what action would you, the mayors of the West Bank, then take?
Well, we will boycott it, we will fight it, we will resist it. I will advise the people in Bethlehem not to support it, not to vote for it. So if this puppet council ever comes into existence, it will die in a few months.
At the moment, there are about 40,000 Arabs going to work in Israel every day from the West Bank and Gaza. If such an autonomous council was set up, would they continue to go to work, or would you boycott work in Israel?
On the contrary, I believe we have to have a comprehensive peace settlement with Israel that will provide for open borders between us and Israel, and that will give the right for our workers to work on both sides of the border. So I support that our workers continue to work in Israel when we have our autonomy or when we are independent.
So what you're saying is that what you really want is an independent Palestinian state completely?
Well, what we really need is a transitional period to prepare ourselves for self-rule, for a homeland, and ultimately for complete independence. Yes, that's what we want, but we want it to come into stages.
Do you see the PLO as the government of this independent state?
Well, I declare that the PLO is the official representative and official spokesman of all the Palestinian Arabs, whether they live in the West Bank or Gaza, Syria, Jordan, or elsewhere. And since the PLO is our official representative, and since we cannot have independence without negotiations, and since the PLO will be authorized to negotiate on our behalf, yes, they will be our provisional government.
And what would your relations be with Jordan and the King?
That will have to be negotiated, but in my capacity as the Mayor of Bethlehem, and I have been living here all my life, I say we have to have confederation with Jordan, because that will be in our own interest to be confederated with Jordan.
Mr. Khalaf, if the Americans and the Egyptians manage to get some sort of a linkage with the West Bank in the peace treaty with Egypt, will this make any difference to your rejection of the Camp David agreements?
No, my friend. We remain at the same stand against Camp David agreements and documents.
So that you will not cooperate with Israel in any way in the autonomy plan?
We'll never cooperate with them, and we'll be against it, and we'll struggle against Camp David documents and against the so-called autonomous rule.
Are you sure the Israelis won't find Arabs to cooperate with them?
Yes, I am sure that they'll never find anyone to accept the so-called autonomous rule, because it is against the wishes of the Palestinians here in the occupied territories, and it means that to accept the occupation for good and forever. Nobody will accept it.
But could you suppose the Israelis do impose autonomy? Would the mayors of the West Bank then come out with, say, a civil disobedience campaign?
Of course, if they are going to impose it, we are going, of course, to work against it, even in front of the Israelis, and frankly, we'll work against it. And as I told you, I doubt that they are not going to find anybody to accept it. Nobody will accept it.